My name is Emma. I am 22 years old. I live with my family in a small house. My life is not easy. Every day, I work in a small shop. I stand there for many hours. I must support my family. They do not have much money. One evening, my friend asked me to go to a party. I decided to go. I wanted to have fun, even if only for one night. When we arrived, the room was full of music. Many rich people were there. They laughed loudly and held drinks. Then, I saw him. He was standing alone. His name was David. He was older than me, perhaps 50 or 60 years old. He wore a dark, expensive suit. David did not talk to anyone. He just stood there, quiet. David saw me. My heart began to beat fast. Then, he walked towards me. He said, "Hello, your eyes are very beautiful." My heart jumped. Slowly, we began to talk. David asked me about myself. He told me about his fancy life. I listened to his every word. David made me feel important. I decided to stay close to him. I smiled at David. I used my charm. This was my chance. I had waited a long time for a change. I did not care that David was old. I only cared about the life he would give me, a life without money problems. David invited me to have a drink in a room upstairs. He said it would be quiet. I said yes. I followed him up the stairs. I was nervous, but also very excited. The room was warm and dark. David offered me a drink. I took it. David sat close to me on a sofa. He touched my hand. That night, I chose him. I spent the night with him. The next morning, I woke up. The room looked very different now. It felt cold and empty. I saw David. He was sitting on the side of the bed. David looked down at the floor. His face was full of worry. I looked around the room more carefully. This was not a big, expensive hotel room. It was a very small apartment. The walls were old. The furniture was cheap. It was not the kind of place a rich man would live. I looked at David again. He still did not look at me. I could see fear in his eyes. David was not rich. He did not have the wonderful life he had shown me. He was just a worried man. I felt angry. David had lied to me about everything. He made me believe in a dream just to impress me. I felt used. I felt foolish. I wanted to scream, but no words came out. I remembered the way David looked at me. I remembered how he touched my hand. He made me feel special. How could someone who lied so much make me feel so good? My heart felt heavy. I needed to know the truth. I watched David leave the small apartment. I walked behind him. David walked for a long time. Finally, he stopped at a big house. It looked like a real home. David went inside. I waited a few minutes, then walked to the front door. I took a deep breath and knocked. The door opened. A woman stood there. She looked older than me. Her clothes were simple. The woman asked, "Can I help you?" I wanted to ask about David, about his lies. But before I could speak, David appeared. He stood right behind the woman. His face was white with fear. The woman looked at David, then back at me. I froze. The woman asked again, "Who are you looking for?" I could not speak. David just stood there, silent and afraid. Then the woman looked into my eyes. She said, "I am his wife." My heart stopped. Tears filled my eyes. David was not just poor. He was married. He had a wife. My face felt hot with shame and anger. I looked at David. I shouted at him, "You lied to me. You told me you were rich. You took me to a small, dirty apartment. You made me believe you were special." The woman, his wife, stood still. She did not look surprised. She looked at David, not at me. It was like she knew all his secrets already. I looked at his wife. I said, "He made me feel important. He told me he was lonely. He said I was different. He is a liar. He is a cheat." His wife finally spoke. She said, "David has nothing. He has no money. He lost it all years ago. He ruined his business." She looked at David. He did not move. He just stared at the floor. His wife said, "David lives here in my house. He lives by my rules. David is nothing without me. He often tries to find someone new, someone young." David looked at me, and I saw his desperation. David wanted to feel young again, even for one night. He held on to me because I made him feel young. I felt angry at myself for believing in him. I walked out of the big house, leaving David and his wife behind. Later that day, David found me. He stood outside the shop where I worked. He looked tired, much older than before. He seemed small and broken. His eyes were full of sadness. He looked at me and said, "Emma, I am so sorry for everything. I am sorry for the lies, for the pain I caused you. I am so lonely. My life, it is not my own. My wife, she controls my whole life. My money, my home, my time, everything is hers. I have nothing. I am just a shadow. But you, Emma, you made me feel alive again. With you, I felt like a different man. I felt young. I felt important. You made me forget my sad reality. I know it is wrong to lie, but I just wanted to feel that way again." His words touched my heart, but the pain from his lies was still there. I looked at David. I saw his weak hands. I understood then. I could not save him. David was a grown man, but he lived a child's life, controlled by another. His choices were not his own. I could not change his life. We were both lost, but in our own separate ways. There was nothing left to say, nothing left to do. I walked away, leaving David alone. I went home that night. I sat on my bed. I thought about everything. I wanted a better life. I wanted money. This wish made me blind. I made a mistake. I trusted David. He was an older man, but he was not honest. I used him too. I thought he could give me my dream life. We both used each other. I learned something important. If I wanted a better life, I had to build it myself. I could not wait for someone else to give it to me. I had to work for it. I had to be strong. My future is in my own hands. I would make it good. I would learn from my mistakes. If you were in my place, would you forgive David and accept him, or leave him like I did? If you like this story, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.